Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. How are you all? It's nice to see you all again. I apologize for being gone for so long. Life is improving, which is always a good thing. Thank you so much for all of your well wishes, for your cares and concerns. We are getting through things. It's not as easy as we thought it was going to be. It's not as difficult as we thought it was going to be. So things are working out. In the meantime, the holidays are coming, and I have tried like crazy to prevent them from getting here so fast, and I can't. So it's not my fault. Don't be blaming me if you don't get your Christmas shopping done. I hope all of you had a good Thanksgiving. I'm going to do something a little different now. I'm kind of in the way of that board, aren't I? Boy. Typical. It's been so dang long since I've recorded anything. I'm not quite sure where to set it all up at. All right, there we go. That's a little better. I'm going to be 59 here just shortly, here in a month or two. And I'm somewhat very interested in other subjects besides chess, even though chess is magnificent. I don't have any other YouTube channels. I'm not in the mood to start one because this one's going so well at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to begin sharing some of my other loves in life on YouTube besides chess, although chess will probably remain truly the most emphasized interest because it's so much fun for so many of us. And we don't have to have differences of opinions that cause war and hate, etc. In the meantime, I have other subjects that I have been studying and I want to keep studying. I'm on a message board run by a gentleman named Dr. Shades. It's called MormonDiscussions.com. That's where I post a lot of my research. That's where I hang out when I hang out and talk and chatter. We are an interesting group. There are philosophers, there are scientists, there are literature experts, and there are everyday Joes and Janes. A lot of ex-Mormons are on there. It's not an anti-Mormon site. I've seen anti-Mormon sites. We do critically discuss religion. There's some who hate religion altogether. We do have some atheists on there. We have some others who are agnostic, such as myself. I like to view myself as a seeking agnostic. I don't know, but I'm looking. So, and we do have critical, wonderful discussions in all kinds of areas. It's a great group. You ought to come and join if that kind of thing interests you. I'm going to begin to share some of my philosophical, religious, historical, intellectual, and esoteric interests. As the Backyard Professor, I should have a lot more interest than just chess, and as a matter of fact, I do. For instance, I just recently acquired 2 books. Will in the World, How Shakespeare Became Shakespeare by Stephen Greenblatt, and another one by Marilyn French, Shakespeare's Division of Experience. Fabulous books. I'm learning how to get along and study and enjoy Shakespeare better, so I am beginning to get into literature. I was a Mormon apologist for like 15 years, and it just didn't work out. But I don't think that religion and spirituality are the same. I don't think they're equivalent. So I do believe in spirituality. And I'm exploring this with very many different aspects of, I've got a huge science section in my bookcases and a huge atheist section. I still have a huge Mormon section because that was the culture I was raised in. You can't just throw anything away. There's no point in throwing away. You want to add on. I have a huge section behind my chessboard here on evolution, the science of evolution, mathematics, infinity, different ideas on philosophers of process theology, etc. I have an enormous collection of materials. I love the historical detective work of finding out, seeing who says what about the historical Jesus. And the Gnostic materials is fascinating because the early Christian stuff, we in the West are just influenced by Christianity. That's the way it is. And I am beginning to restudy my Hebrew and Greek studies for the Old and the New Testament, and the Jewish materials are extremely interesting with the Kabbalah. And I've been studying the Kabbalah lately. And so I've got scholarly articles. I love the scholarship. I love the New Testament exegesis with the Greek, and I love mythology. I'm getting into literature. I just recently acquired finally Francois Rabelais, Gargantua, and Pantagruel. Very interesting book. I also I found this in the bookstore the other day, and I'm thrilled about this one. The annotated Alice in Wonderland by the mathematician Martin Gardner. So Lewis Carroll's materials. Don't let yourself kid yourself. The children's story has some very interesting things for adults. I like to look at all sides of a discussion. That's partly what got me in trouble as an apologist with my fellow apologists, is because, for instance, this book by Michael Martin, The Improbability of God, it's one of the strongest books I've ever read. And he's got another one, The Impossibility of God. And he's got another one, The Philosophical Basis of Atheism, which is really powerful. But I like to see both sides, and so I also read books like Timothy Keller, The Reason for God, Belief in an Age of Skepticism. I read Karen Armstrong. I read Hans Kuhn. I read the theologian Swinburne, and those as well as the atheists and the agnostics, because you round out your education by getting all points of view everywhere. And that's what I love to do the most. I love to get a point of view. The early Christian ideas from Iamblichus on the mysteries. It's an excellent Greek-English text for the early Christianities. You get all the different points of view and you get it together and you say, yes, so-and-so interprets Philippians chapter 2 this way, this guy interprets it that way, this guy interprets it that way. When you put all the views together, you might come up with something new and very interesting that no one else has seen. That's what I love to do. That's why I collect so many chess books, of course, and other kinds of books. I'm into the Greeks. Just got a new book on Aristophanes. Very interesting. William Blake. I just got the complete poetry and prose of William Blake. That's sensational stuff. Very important stuff. Alan Watts, of course. His kids are beginning to put his former lectures that were recorded into book form for a new generation. This one, Out of Your Mind, is simply one of my very favorites by Alan Watts. It's an absolutely sensational book that I would highly recommend. The Alchemists. I have a lot of materials on alchemy, and the most recent one I got, Patrick Harper. It's not a new book, but it's new for me. The Philosopher's Secret Fire, A History of the Imagination. Fun stuff. Really interesting. You love to read the history of the world with various different historians and histories of the world. I just recently acquired a new book that's a New York Times bestseller, incidentally, by Mark Booth, called The Secret History of the World. Fantastically interesting how he will emphasize different things than what a standard scholarly historian will emphasize. This is what I mean. We want to look at all points of view. And then I just recently acquired Alexandria, the 5 volumes of Alexandria by one of my very favorite authors, David Feidler. Fabulous scholar. This is a journal of the Western cosmological traditions. Very, very powerful and interesting. He has dozens of different kinds of scholars that contributed to that journal. And then the Kabbalah, one of my favorite authors, Leonore Leet. Her book, The Universal Kabbalah. Her book, where is it? Anyway, she's got several books that she wrote that is about the Kabbalah that is interesting. Gershom Scholem is another one. And Idel is another one, scholar. And then, of course, Daniel Matt, the Pritzker edition of the Zohar, his translation of the Zohar. I don't have the whole set yet, but it's an ongoing project. I mean, the man's devoted 20 years, and the Zohar is just absolutely over the top, as are the Sefer Yetzirah, very important text, and the Bahir, another very important text. So the Jewish materials on the Kabbalah, on how to, it's an esoteric interpretation like nothing you've ever read. Fun stuff. I just recently acquired, by Fred Burnett, the Testament of Jesus Sophia. This is a redactional critical study of the eschatological discourse of Matthew in the New Testament. I'm looking forward to reading this. Looks very, very interesting. I also recently acquired the Sources of the Holy Grail by John Matthews, because I love studying the King Arthur, Merlin, Search for the Holy Grail, stuff like that. Fantastic materials to research and study. And then, again, the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology, the Journal of Near Eastern Studies, the Journal of Biblical Literature, the Journal for the Study of the Old Testament, the New Testament Studies Journal, the scholarly materials, the Journal for the Study of the New Testament, the Vetus Testamentum, and the Novum Testamentum. It's fun to read the esoteric material. Some of it does get into the realm of the woo-woo. And of course, to an Orthodox scientist, everything spiritual is woo-woo. We can't help that. That's okay. Everyone has a say. That's the point. Everyone has a say. I like to read as much of everyone from every single point of view as I can, and then what I do is I put it all together in research papers and publish it online. It's kind of fun. For instance, this one. This is the new one I got by Clifford Pickover, The Paradox of God and the Science of Omniscience. Fantastic subject. Really interesting stuff. And of course, one of my very favorite physicists is Frank Wilczek. His new book, A Beautiful Question, Finding Nature's Deep Design. Fabulous read. Absolutely awesome. And Sean Carroll, another important physicist, his book, The Big Picture. Fun material to keep up on science as much as possible. My all-time favorite mathematics book, because it deals with the philosophy, but it shows the mathematics that led the mathematicians on how to think about how math works today. This is by William Byers. Fabulous book. And it is, I'm trying to find the, by Princeton University Press. Oh, come on, I thought it had the year. It does. Oh, 2007. Now, I've read it several times. How Mathematicians Think. One of the most impressive texts I have ever read. It's fabulous. And then, of course, the incomparable Roger Penrose, The Road to Reality. This one's tough. If you don't have the higher math, you probably won't get as much out of this as you could, but it is still worth the effort to try to read because he has so much gosh dang fabulous information. So these kinds of subjects are what interest me. And I'm going to begin making videos on these subjects as well as my chess videos. Now, those of you who want chess, I'm going to give you chess. Those of you, I've had people ask before, well, don't you still do religious stuff and philosophy stuff and all that? Yes, I do, and I'm going to begin doing it. If you want to watch that, that's great. If you disagree with me, that's fine. It's okay. I'm not going to present the materials as a way of trying to convert you to a certain point of view. I'm an explorer. I mean, I'm the backyard professor. I am the seeking agnostic, emphasis on seeking. I don't know, but I want to. And there is an intellect and there is a spirit. And I'm not going to ignore any aspect. Bring it all together. Because if we're after ultimate reality, you don't leave anything out. You pull it all together. The subjective as well as the objective. One of the very best texts, brand new book, that I've read discussing that is by, again, David Feidler, the editor of the journals Alexandria. His book, Restoring the Soul of the World, Our Living Bond with Nature's Intelligence, is one of the most beautifully written books I've ever read. It's sensational. It's by Inner Traditions. It's 2014. Feidler is superb. So anyway, just to let you know, I am going to begin making videos of other topics besides chess. If you see those videos and you don't want to watch them, don't. But don't yell at those who want to watch them, because I'm trying to accommodate all points of view. I'm going to keep emphasizing my chess without question, but I'm going to... It's time for me to branch back out into the original Backyard Professor series that I was doing, where I was discussing so much. Well, most of that was ancient history, religion, and all that. I had the intent of trying to convert you to a religious view. I no longer have that intent. I just find I'm decently well-read. I'm not a scholar. I'm not an expert in any one subject. I explore and tinker too much with all of them. And in a way, that's a defect. But in a way, rather than becoming specialized on just one thing, I can get a taste of the entire smorgasbord of good stuff. And that's what I'm going to start sharing. So I'm just letting you know. I'm back. I'm going to start sharing more than chess, although I am going to start sharing chess. In fact, I do have a great game of chess that I want to show you in this next video. I'm taking longer than I expected to introduce a broader video menu for you Backyard Professor fans. I'm now going to begin including other videos on other subjects besides chess, but I'm going to leave it all on this channel. We'll see how that goes. I hope it doesn't goof anything up. So again, I am grateful to be back. I am thankful for all of you and your good wishes and your spirit and your attitudes. We're going to rock and roll with chess. We're going to rock and roll with literature and philosophy and history and mathematics and science and historical Jesus studies and King Arthur studies and mythological aspects and literature such as Shakespeare and William Blake and Milton. Oh, Milton, Paradise Lost. I've learned some new things on Milton just in the last couple of weeks that just blow my mind. I can't wait to share them with you. There is so many intelligent people in the world. The mystics, the scientists, the philosophers, the Greeks, Plato, Socrates, Euripides, Parmenides, Aristotle. Holy cow. And then the Christian mystics. And the Jewish mystics, the Kabbalah, oh my gosh, there is so much fun crap to study. It'll take me the next 200 years to get through it all. And by then, everybody's going to keep publishing and there will be more to share. So see, none of us are allowed to die. In fact, that's one of the mystics' secrets. None of us really do die. We just transition to something else. So that's kind of cool, sort of encouraging. I'll talk about that as well. So in the meantime, I am back. Thank you again. Get ready for the holidays. Here we go. It's coming, man. You better hustle now so that you don't have to double hustle later. So thanks for watching the Backyard Professor videos. This one wasn't a chess game. I was going to play a chess game, but I got carried away with all this other crap because it is so blasted fascinating. I like to mix the scholarly with the spiritual. And I don't necessarily emphasize one point of view over the other, saying that point of view is true, this one's false. That's the apologetic approach. I'm doing more of a comparative, more of a philosophical, well, here's how he approaches this, and that makes sense. There's some issues with that, but here's how she approaches this same subject, and we have two other views from here and here. When we mesh them all together, what we get is, oh, hey, that gives me an idea on what this particular scripture says, or what about that passage in the Zohar? Or what about the alchemical philosophy of this and that and thus and so forth? Or how about the new scientific discovery that shows something in the East? Lots of fun, interesting topics, I'm telling you. So, get ready to rumble. Yeah, I know, that was so unenthusiastic. I apologize. Get ready to rumble. Yeah, I'm too old for that crap. That's for the young people. Anyway, all right, you guys, thank you so much. I'm going to try to make several holiday videos and several holiday video chess game videos for the holidays. I need to get ramping up here. So stay tuned. Thank you again for all of your love and support and help. I enjoy absolutely every one of you. I really do. I enjoy your comments, and I'm looking forward to more. In the meantime, remember, do you remember? It's been a while. Let's see. Do well, be good, have fun. Thanks, work hard. Don't worry about making lots of money, because it's not about the money. It's about the spirit. It's about the attitude of discovering who we really are. And money doesn't make the man or woman. The heart, the mind, and the spirit does. Gosh, that was almost spiritual, right? Yeah, whatever. Knock it off. All right, it's time to get serious. We're serious, man.